Hello, welcome to another Looney Tunes review video. If you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to follow my journey to review all 1000 classic Looney Tunes shorts and give this video a like as well. So this is a review for Hen House Henry, and with me today is my good friend S.C. MacPeter. Say hi.
Howdy there. I say howdy there, son.
So this is for Hen House Henry, released on the 2nd of July 1949 with a blue ribbon reissue on the 1st of December 1956. It's the 560th in the series, and it's directed by Bob McKimson. So far, this restoration has only been available on MeTV, hence the stamp that you see in the corner there. But with this one, at least we know that all Foghorn Leghorn shorts have been restored, and that's fantastic. I think they're great cartoons.
What's the big idea? Don't stand there gawking, son. Speak up. Why hit me on the noggin? Speak up. Now, I say cut that out.
Just a brief synopsis in case you haven't seen this one, or if you don't have MeTV or whatever. There's two storylines. One is that Foghorn is, of course, messing with Barnyard Dog as per usual. And the other storyline is Foghorn sort of helping Henry Hawk find a chicken, but Henry has no luck. And the two storylines meet at the end, which we'll discuss in a moment. As for trivia, there's really only one major one, and that, of course, is that this is the first short to actually have Foghorn Leghorn sing, or mostly hum, I guess, the Camptown Races, you know, da 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 doo da doo da. One thing that people might still be a little bit confused about, because these days Foghorn Leghorn is, of course, very well known as a character, but Henry Hawk isn't, and yet you see these early Foghorn shorts as Henry being pushed as a character. I've kind of explained this beforehand, but I'll get you to explain maybe this time, SC. Like, why is Henry Hawk the supposed star of this short?
Because he was a popular comics character. Shortly after Squawking Hawk, they introduced him in the Looney Tunes and Merry Melodies comics. And he I forget exactly what role he played. I think Oliver Owl actually served as a foil to him in many stories. But he was a comics character, so I guess kind of more people would know him through that at the time. So I guess promoting him as a star would have seemed logical. The original titles to Walkie Talkie Hockey don't exist as far as I know currently, but I'm sure they also promoted him as Henry Hawk as well.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's just one of those things. You don't really know which characters will break out and be stars and which one you don't. You know, everyone wants to create a star character. All these studios would love to do it, but sometimes it just happens completely by accident, like Bugs Bunny. That's more or less an accident if you really do think about it. But in the end, you know, Henry Hawk will still appear in a few Foghorn Leghorn cartoons, but over time, yeah, Foghorn will clearly overshadow him. And I did note with this short that we pretty much have the formula of what the Foghorn shorts are going to be from here on. Yes, you got different characters that come into it later on, like, of course, you know, Miss Prissy and her genius son, Egbert, I believe the name is, off memory. And there's even Daffy in one short. So, but what do you think of the formula in general? I mean, I think these are great cartoons. Even the later ones where McKimson's shorts are hit or miss, I find that Foghorns are just about always a hit. I mean, what do you think?
I think he got Foghorn well. I have some friends who are a bit hit or miss with some of the post-war characters, but I like Foghorn. I like it. I think there's some of the more inventive shorts that Robert McKimson did, and he gets good mileage out of the character. Even when the budget gets low, he figures out how to make it work.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly. So, what are some great parts about this cartoon? I mean, for me, look, I prefer the Barnyard Dog parts of this cartoon. I mean, that's not to say the Henry Hawk parts are bad or anything. I actually like both, but I do prefer the Barnyard Dog parts, especially in the beginning, where we see that ridiculous fire escape gag. I just thought, boy, this is a stupid gag, but I just love it. And, of course, the beach ball is that nice little topper at the end. I mean, what do you think about that gag?
I think about the same way, yeah. What Foghorn does to Barnyard Dog is really ridiculous. I think in this one it's all topped because it just gets sillier and sillier what he does.
Yeah, exactly. Especially that jester thing. I think it's a jester. That little thing on the stick.
Yeah.
It must be, which freaks the dog out somewhat. But I don't know. I just like that design. I thought that was hilarious. But of course, we've also got the Henry part, and there's actually an interesting callback to Walkie Talkie Hawkie, where in that one Henry says,
Someday I guess I'd better learn to fly.
and this one is.
Someday I better learn to swim.
So maybe that was going to be a thing if they were going to keep on using Henry. I don't know, but I just thought it was an interesting thing there. But which part was your favorite for the Henry Hawk parts?
Mostly just whatever animal Foghorn set him up against, because Henry is obviously portrayed as someone who doesn't quite know what he's doing, even though he just knows that he has to get a chicken. He can be quite persistent in getting it, but he doesn't quite know what a chicken is.
So that's probably something that they were just trying to push that idea, but maybe they just found that the audience were responding better to the Barnyard Dog antics. I mean, it's a theory. I'm not saying that that's exactly what happened, but I feel that maybe the audiences just responded better to those parts, and then they just decided to move away from a lot of the Henry Hawk stuff, which, again, they still use Henry in some future ones, but more or less you'll see a lot more focus on the Barnyard Dog. But one thing I do like is that Chicken Hawk Turtle combo, where we just get to the point, as you said, that this gets really ridiculous towards the end, and that wonderful animation. I wonder who animated that one.
I can't think of it right now, but there is great animation on this cartoon. I love Manny Gould's animation. It just pops so much. He is really the most definite animator of McKimson during this point, where he really just shows off that McKimson just loved doing a bunch of animated bits, making stuff pop on the screen. And just when you put these in, like, on a big screen, Manny's animation stands out a lot with just the way he pops things in and out of the screen.
Isn't this around the time when Manny moves on? Is this one of his last few cartoons he did for McKimson?
Yeah, he would have left around this time.
Yes, this must be one of his last few cartoons. It would have to be, but I guess that the more knowledgeable people would be more aware of that. But also, I found it interesting that the Barnyard Dog had a different voice.
Hey, kid, you looking for that chicken too, huh? Well, if we work together, we can get him. Now listen.
So even though that they, I guess, settled the formula in these shorts by this point, there were a few minor details that they still were sort of, I guess, playing with. Or maybe they just forgot and they just told Mel.
This was sort of the peak of, I guess, sort of what people call like the grotesque big jaw look that McKimson's films have in the 40s, where they just had these big mouths and small eyes.
Yeah, I like that look, personally. That's just me.
Yeah.
I find that these cartoons actually look a little bit better than the later McKimson shorts, in general, anyway. But just to slowly wind up this review, I mean, in terms of a rating, I mean, this is definitely one of the better Foghorns, and I'm giving this one an 8 out of 10. I really enjoy it. It's not particularly memorable, but I do like how it feels like two separate cartoons, but at the very end, they come together so perfectly, where, and a lot of times the Warner cartoons just did not do that properly. They would have these separate stories, and none of it really meshes together at the end. But what would you rate this one?
Similarly, I would rate an 8.5. It feels a lot dreamy, especially with Foghorn constantly. He sings Camptown Races a lot more than in later cartoons, and it just comes off as a nice dreamy feeling to it. I like this one.
Yeah, so do I. So do I. And, if I was to rank them all, this one might be more or less around the top half, but we'll see. Maybe once I do them more, I'll do a rating. But that'll do it for this one. So thank you so much for listening, guys, and until next time, take care.
That's all, folks.